winter storm chaos continues with thousands of flight cancellations. We are live at O'Hare to show you how passengers are coping this morning.
And taking a live look outside this morning, we are all having to cope with the cold temperatures and the snowfall. Kicking off the work week on a Monday morning in the single digits, and it looks like the cold isn't going anywhere.
So miserable out there. Good morning, though. We're glad you're with us. I'm Natalie Bumpke.
I'm Anthony Ponce. Let's get straight over to Mike Kaplan for the details here on this forecast.
Fresh snow on the Bean and in the plaza. Parts of the city picked up more than 8 inches of snow yesterday. Now the focus is not so much on the snow. It is the fact that we have got very cold temperatures in play. A cold weather advisory in effect for all of Chicagoland until noon. That is because wind chills are biting. In some places 20 below zero or worse, including Aurora, DeKalb, Woodstock, and Rockford, even Morris and Kankakee with wind chills lower than minus 20. Feels like 16 below at O'Hare right now. Let's get those travel times from Natalie.
Hey, let's do it. All right, the only issue that we're seeing here that could slow you down on the Dan Ryan inbound express lanes. There's an accident there at 47th, only impacting one lane. So you can still get through, but again, that could be an issue for you. You can see all of your travel times, except for the Dan Ryan, are in the green this morning. Your travel times are below average, so you're looking good at 6:01.
Breaking overnight crews rescue multiple people from an apartment fire on the city's north side. This broke out in Rogers Park, right near the intersection of Northwestern Avenue and West Toohey. So that would be West Rogers Park. At least one person was taken to the hospital. Crews say they weren't just fighting the fire, they were fighting the cold as well.
The challenge is the temperature right off the bat. And obviously, if you look at the building access, you got a couple little corridors down each side of the building, the front and back. It's not like you got a driveway that you can walk up or anything, or a parking lot.
All right, Assistant Deputy Fire Commissioner John Geese says the fire started on the first floor of that building before spreading up. No word yet on what sparked it. Airports are still reeling from the cold and snow, which forced thousands of flight cancellations over the weekend.
Roseanne Tellez is live at O'Hare International Airport to show us where things stand this morning. Good morning, Roseanne.
Good morning. O'Hare is getting very busy. A lot of these people playing catch up after that horrible weekend of weather that you have described. The problems are actually worse getting to O'Hare than getting out of O'Hare this morning. 42 flights leaving the airport are canceled and 28 delays, but 131 flights headed to O'Hare are canceled. It's kind of the same story at Midway, where 7 outbound flights but 22 inbound are canceled for today. With all that snow, sleet, and freezing rain, it is no surprise the massive winter storm led to 10,000 flights canceled yesterday. These snowy scenes are at O'Hare, but places like Atlanta, Charleston, and Dallas-Fort Worth were dealing with the same, and they're not used to it. Today, there are more than 3,600 cancellations within, into, or out of the U.S. across the country. About 769 delays. Now, United, just to give you a perspective, they have 280 flights canceled system-wide, only 39 of them at O'Hare. Marilyn Nyland told us she is headed to sunny Fort Lauderdale.
I was worried on Friday and Saturday, but when I saw the weather yesterday, I figured, okay, life is good. I'm going to be, it'll be fine.
But they got you anyway. How?
They got me because tonight I was supposed to be going to a concert in Fort Myers, and the group that was singing canceled because they couldn't get there. So I'm still going, but the weather is going to be a little cool, but only in the 50s, but it's certainly better than what it is here in Chicago at the moment.
Right. So you're getting your trip in. You're just not getting your plan in.
I'm just not getting my plan, so it'll be great. I'm visiting friends, and we'll have a good time together.
Well, there's a nice positive attitude for you. So it wasn't Fort Lauderdale, it was Fort Myers. But found it interesting that the band that canceled, she said they were called the Texas Tenors. So they're from Texas and they couldn't get out. So everybody is feeling the impact from this massive storm. We'll have more from O'Hare throughout the morning. Back to you in the studio.
And I am so glad that you're inside and warm and safe, Roseanne. Thank you so much.
That's a plus.
Yes, it is. Developing this morning, growing calls for an investigation into a deadly shooting involving a Border Patrol agent in Minneapolis.
The shooting killed 37-year-old nurse Alex Preddy. Gabriela Prima is joining us now with what the president is now saying about this.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on this. President Donald Trump has not said whether the agent who shot Preddy did the right thing, but is saying his administration is reviewing everything that happened. The Department of Homeland Security says the agent was defending himself against Preddy, who they say approached with a gun and attacked. Video from a witness appears to show Preddy recording agents when he gets shoved. Agents seem to pin Preddy on the ground, and one of them walks away with the gun. Then an agent is seen drawing his own gun while another hit Preddy. That's when the gunfire begins.
Let's think of what those agents were doing on that scene, making a split-second decision. You've had 24 hours to try and armchair quarterback things. That agent had a split seconds to make a decision.
Minnesota authorities say they obtained a search warrant but were blocked from the shooting scene. Governor Tim Walz now says the state will conduct its own investigation.
So my question is, what's the plan, Donald Trump? What is the plan? What do we need to do to get these federal agents out of our state?
Well, the plan, according to the president, is to leave Minnesota. He says, tells the Wall Street Journal, it will happen at some point, but didn't offer a specific time frame. Amid this, people hit the streets of Chicago to protest in solidarity with those in Minneapolis. They gathered at Ida B. Wells and Michigan Avenue downtown on Sunday. Mayor Brandon Johnson was there, and he was calling for defunding and abolishing ICE.
Chicago is not just the greatest city in the world, but we are the toughest city in the world, and a little bit of snow and cold will not stop us. Not only should we defund ICE, but it is time to abolish ICE and send Greg Bovino out. Are you with us, Chicago?
Today, a federal judge will take on a case focused on whether to halt the immigration crackdown in Minnesota. The state sued earlier this month after Renee Good was shot by an officer. The man acquitted in the murder-for-hire plot against Chief Gregory Bovino is now facing deportation. The Sun-Times says Juan Espinoza Martinez was taken into ICE custody last Friday. That was just a day after his victory in court. Natalie.
Gabby, thank you. And Homeland Security had previously accused Espinoza, who you're seeing right there, of being in the country illegally. So we'll see how that case shakes out.
All right. Joliet police, meantime, have arrested a man accusing him of fatally shooting a woman and her 4-year-old child to death. Police were called to Garnsey Avenue around 7 yesterday morning. Officers found the woman and the boy's bodies in the backyard. The woman's 8-year-old son was in one of the bedrooms. He was alive. And police found the 29-year-old suspect with a gunshot wound to his ankle. They believe that gunshot wound to be self-inflicted and believe this was a domestic incident. A woman is now charged in connection with a shooting in Oak Park last year. Officers arrested 23-year-old Lisette Chavez over the weekend. Police say she shot and seriously hurt a 25-year-old woman right near the intersection of Glen Lake and Karlov on March 15th. Chavez is charged with attempted murder and aggravated battery.
A massive winter storm knocked out electricity for more than 1 million customers on Sunday. We were preparing for it, and it came. Snow and ice is blanketing communities across more than half of the country, from the south and up to the northeast. People in New York, Philadelphia, and Boston will have plenty of digging out to do as a buildup of sleet and freezing rain triggers fears of worsening power outages, especially down south.
Water meters busted, there's water going everywhere, trees fell on the cars.
Live wires down in people's yards. There's one in my yard.
Well, a few minutes ago, Roseanne, she's live at O'Hare. She talked about the storm's impact on airports. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells Fox News it was the worst day of flight cancellations since the pandemic in 2020.
Temperatures here in the single digits after some serious snowfall over the weekend. Illinois State Police say they were called more than 300 times for accidents between Saturday and Sunday alone. As we take a look at video from the Dan Ryan, you can see a tractor trailer just jackknifed. That was right near 31st Street. On I-80 in Hammond, a car ran straight into a wall. Those are just a couple examples. We also know a Porter County, Indiana deputy was hurt in a crash. We were working this morning to find out more about the circumstances around that and the extent of that officer's injuries.
6:09 now, and we want to turn to the weather. And I feel like we're being harassed. That's what I feel like, okay? Because I'm looking at the 7-day forecast, and like nothing until maybe next week, peaks, into the 30s.
Right.
What is going on?
Yeah, Mike.
It's a blast of cold air that's got legs, and it's not going away anytime soon. Cold till further notice, below freezing for the rest of the month at least. No big storms this week, but I'm watching for the possibility of impactful lake effect snow somewhere in Chicagoland Friday and or Saturday. It's too soon to nail that down. Right now, it's 0 at O'Hare. We have a west-northwest wind at 10. The wind chill is 16 degrees below 0. These are the current temperatures at Goose Egg, at Waukegan and Joliet, 5 below at DeKalb, 2 above at Valparaiso, and 1 below at Rensselaer. And we have those wind chills, double digits below 0. Feels like 21 below at Aurora, 22 below at DeKalb, 16 below at Midway, and also 16 below at Gary. Cold weather advisory in effect until noon for all of Chicagoland to account for these wind chills, which will likely be right around 20 below 0. Back to you.
Mike, our coverage of the deadly shooting in Minneapolis continues for you after the break. Our Saquon is live there with the action that local businesses and companies are now taking. We'll be right back.
Sponsored by Four Seasons, your trusted local.
.13 now. Welcome back to Good Day Chicago. Dozens of businesses in Minnesota are calling for an immediate de-escalation of tensions in Minnesota after a Border Patrol agent shot and killed a man by the name of Alex Preddy. Fox Chicago's Saquon is live there now. And tell us what unfolded over the weekend and what you're seeing as we start this next work week.
Yeah, hey guys. So we are here in Minneapolis in the Whittier neighborhood. This is also known as Eat Street to many locals. It's home to many Twin Cities restaurants here that are owned by immigrants and people of color. And we'll get into the businesses calling for de-escalation here in just a second. But first, I just want to set the scene, give you a better idea of where we are and what things look like here. This is where Alex Preddy was shot and killed by a federal ICE agent. And you can see this memorial. It has grown so much, you guys, since that shooting unfolded on Saturday. people as early as this morning have been stopping by. Obviously, you're talking about a new work week, a new week for people to get back to school, back to work, but people have been stopping by early this morning to drop off fresh flowers. They've been lighting candles. We actually also know that there are volunteers kind of patrolling this area, making sure that no one is messing with anything here. And also picking up things like trash, offering hand warmers. So there's a whole community effort behind what has happened here. Now, you mentioned the businesses that have signed on to this open letter. So we're talking about 60 CEOs, strictly from Minnesota-based companies, along with Minnesota's professional sports teams. That includes the Minnesota Vikings, the Twins. All of them have signed on to this letter, basically urging elected officials to do something, find a different solution, de-escalate the situation. It's unclear at this point exactly what specific solution they want out of this, right? We've heard from leaders here in our state as well who are calling on these federal officials to do something different, to get ICE out of our state. We just have not heard any of those details from that letter from those CEOs who have signed on to it. I will say, though, let's talk more about the businesses here along Eat Street, right? This is where that street is. This is where Alex Preddy was shot and killed. Just across the street from this memorial, you can see a business called Glam Doll Donuts. This has been around for about 13 years in that same location. People here in Minnesota love this place, okay? It's very popular. And that video that we have all seen basically at this point, circulating on social media right now all around the world, that first video came out of that shop. One of the employees took a video there and released it. And we know that video has become a huge conversation right now as they investigate, you know, what exactly unfolded here and what led up to the shooting death of Alex Preddy. Also with these businesses, we know that Minneapolis has seen really tough times in 2020 and beyond with riots after the murder of George Floyd. And so just when they were starting to kind of find their footing again, now this tragedy unfolds, leaving businesses with reduced hours at this point. Some of these businesses not even open at all for a few days this week, and of course this last weekend. So it's a tough time out here, especially for these small businesses who are just trying to get back up and running again. Guys?
Saquon live there in Minneapolis for us. Thank you so much, Say, for that report. Some lawmakers are refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security and ICE in the wake of this shooting.
Let's check in with Gabriella Primus, who joins us with that part of the story and some other headlines we're following on a Monday morning.
Well, the threat to strip money from those agencies could raise the risk of another government shutdown at the end of the week. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer posted on social media that Democrats will not provide the votes to proceed with the bill if funding for DHS is included. Several Republicans are joining Democrats in calling for an investigation into the shooting, including Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy and North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis. Senators need to pass a spending package by Friday to avoid a shutdown. Crews rescued multiple people from an apartment fire on the city's north side overnight. It happened in Rogers Park near the intersection of Northwestern and West Toohey Avenues. 2 people were taken to the hospital, both in critical condition. Firefighters say the fire is out. No word yet on what sparked it. Thousands of people are without power after a massive winter storm makes its way across from the south to the northeast. The outages are mostly concentrated in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. The concern about energy will grow as cool temperatures settle this week and threaten the electricity grid. Anthony.
All right, Gabby, thank you very much. We are trying to take a live look from the north side of the Chicago area facing south. That is from about Diversey, looking south onto Lincoln Park, but we can't see a thing. Mike, what
are you talking about? I see steam coming off that building.
Yeah.
I see plenty of that.
Steam coming off. The buildings are exhaling a lot.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And you will see your breath when you exhale out there today, too. At least the snow is over, and it's going to be sunny out there. See how I'm putting a positive spin on things out there? It's not going to help. Look, it's going to be really cold today. This is the view from the roof. We can see skies are beginning to break. We're getting some gaps in the clouds. And I think it will end up being a nice sunny day here today, but boy, temperatures are not going to recover much. We're at 0 at O'Hare, 4 below at Aurora, 5 below at DeKalb, 2 above at Valparaiso and Merrillville. And of course, these wind chills make it feel even worse on exposed skin. Make sure you're doing that snow removal this morning when you're taking the pup out this morning. Cover up. 21 below is the wind chill at Aurora, 15 below at Waukegan. So today, it's going to be cold. Tomorrow, it's going to be cold. In between, maybe a snowflake or two late at night into tomorrow morning, far north. Teens, Wednesday and Thursday. Then I'm eyeballing the potential of lake effect snow again somewhere in Chicagoland Friday into Saturday, but at least we get temperatures up into the 20s. Let's check those travel times now with Natalie.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Yeah, everything is looking wonderful. Your travel times on all the major interstates coming into the city are below normal, so that's fantastic. A couple issues on public transportation. Because of a minor Amtrak train derailment, BNSF and Southwest Service lines on the Metro are experiencing some delays, so check that Venture app. The other issue, Forest Park bound Blue Line service is delayed at Belmont. Crews are working to restore service there, so you might see a snag in your trip on the Blue Line this morning. Again, those travel times, though, on the roads looking great.
All right, Natalie, thank you. Super Bowl 60 is set. We're going to break down that matchup and what you need to know ahead of the big game and who's favored to win as well. We'll be right back.
Ashley's President's Day.
It is official. Super Bowl 60 is set. I don't know whether to be excited or just down in the dumps.
I feel like, yeah, don't have a dog in this fight.
No. The Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots will face off at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California on February 8th.
This is a rematch from 11 years ago, and this will now be the Patriots' 12th Super Bowl. They do have 6 wins under their belt. They're looking for their 7th, and if that does happen, the team would set a new record. And this will be the Seahawks' 4th time on the biggest stage. They are seeking their 2nd Lombardi trophy. These teams faced one another at Super Bowl 49 back in 2015. Patriots came out on top of that one. This time, the Seahawks are the favorites to win.
I almost feel like I'd feel better if the Rams are going, because then I'd be like, okay, they were good enough to go to the Super Bowl. They beat us.
Right.
I get it.
So no shame in losing the eventual champs. I get it.
Not so much.
All right, the world-famous punk band Green Day will kick off the game with an opening ceremony performance. And then Bad Bunny is set to headline the halftime show. Bad Bunny has won 3 Grammys along with 12 Latin Grammys. He is up for 12 more Latin Grammys this coming year.
Chicago once again throwing its hat in the ring to host an upcoming Democratic National Convention. The DNC is meeting with interested cities in the next several weeks. According to the Sun-Times, the Chicago 2024 Host Committee has expressed interest in hosting the 2028 or 2032 convention. Boston, Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Denver also interested, according to a study by Choose Chicago. The 2024 DNC generated $371 million for the city.
The American Academy of Pediatrics updated vaccine recommendations are out this morning, and they largely ignore new federal guidance. The agency continues to recommend routine shots against hepatitis A and B, flu, and meningitis, all of which the CDC has narrowed its guidance for. The IRS is opening up tax filing today. If you did get your W-2, you can calculate what you'll owe or what you'll get as a refund and file your taxes with the federal government. It is that time. New provisions in last summer's big, beautiful bill may benefit some folks. Some provisions include no tax on tips, no tax on overtime pay, no tax on car loan interest, and enhanced deductions for seniors.
Chicago food banks and pantries bracing for SNAP cuts. Starting February 1st, this upcoming Sunday, anyone between the ages of 18 and 64 without dependents will need to work or volunteer for at least 80 hours a month to keep their benefits. Anyone else will get only 3 months of benefits within a 3-year period. The National Transportation Safety Board investigating self-driving Waymo taxis. It follows dozens of recorded incidents of the taxis illegally passing stopped school buses. Company says it's continually improving its Waymo driver system, and there have been no crashes involved.
A new airline has just been crowned #1, at least according to one annual ranking by the Wall Street Journal, which ranked Southwest as the industry's best performer of 2025. It dethroned Delta from the spot that Delta had actually held for the previous 4 years. Now, coming in at #2 here, another low-cost carrier, Allegiant Air. So Delta fell to #3 after seeing an increase in delays, cancellations, and complaints.
Has to be the little heart-shaped coffee stirrers that Southwest, you know,
yeah,
it makes you feel good when you get one of those.
It does. How can you not feel warm and cozy inside with a
Exactly.
heart-shaped coffee stirrer?
And this is what we were all doing over the weekend to stay warm and cozy inside, watching this big event on Netflix. An incredible feat over the weekend. American rock climber Alex Honnold climbed to the top of the Taipei 101 skyscraper without any ropes or protective equipment. That is 1,667 feet. Whole thing broadcast live on Netflix. To me, the amazing thing, besides the climbing itself, he did it in like an hour and 30 minutes. You may know Honnold for his ropeless climb up El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. That feat was captured in the documentary Free Solo.
Oh, that's incredible stuff. Okay, Chicago area athlete, meantime, celebrating a major accomplishment. Oswego High School sophomore Ethan Val scored his 1,000th point in basketball over the weekend. And this is a milestone that most players spend 4 years chasing. Okay, he did it midway through his sophomore season. Val is ranked as one of the top 25 guards in the country by ESPN and the #3 overall player in Illinois for the class of 2028.
Way to go.
So I'm sure this is not the last time you're going to be hearing that young man's name.
Hopefully he plays for the University of Illinois and then the Bulls. Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking Hoosiers, then Bulls. No.
Whatever.
Little different route to the same destination, Mike.
All right.
But does Indiana even have a basketball team?
Yeah, exactly. We're a football school now.
It's a football powerhouse now. And speaking of football, remember, this is a replay of Super Bowl 49 when the Seahawks lost to the Patriots. And you get $1 if you remember Katy Perry was the halftime show. All right, we have cold weather. Then there's going to be some cold weather, followed up by cold weather. What about snow? I'll talk about those chances coming up.
Fox 32 News is brought to you.
All right, welcome back. 6:31 on your Monday morning as we take a look at the bean. Is there any brave soul out there? No, I don't think so. Yeah, the rare empty plaza there around the bean. Yeah, it is frigid outside, Mike, to start the work week.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem like there's any relief in sight anytime soon.
No. At least we're going to be kind of quiet when it comes to snowfall for a few days. Speaking of snowfall, let's look at the national map here. The storm that has ravaged much of the country is now moving away. Still a couple of flurries here and there. There is some lake effect snow targeting western Michigan, but it's gone from the Chicago area. What's not gone? The cold temperatures. These are the actual air temperatures. Goose eggs at O'Hare, the lakefront, and Waukegan. Joliet, you've got 0 as well. 4 below at Aurora, 2 above at Valparaiso. Wind chills are worse. A lot of spots are around -20, including Aurora, Morris, and DeKalb. Feels like 15 below at Waukegan, 16 below at Midway, and 17 below at Valparaiso. All right, let's get a traffic update there, Natalie.
Yes, no major issues on your major interstates. Let's go through those travel times. On the Kennedy coming in from the big airport, 30 minutes. On the Eisenhower, 390 to downtown, 31 minutes. 31 minutes as well on the Stevenson from 355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And on the Dan Ryan coming in from 95th, 25 minutes. I really want to mention very quickly here, if you take Metra, a minor Amtrak derailment is causing some issues on the BNSF and Southwest service lines. So check your Ventra app if you take either of those lines. I don't want you to be waiting out in the cold.
All right, Natalie, breaking news overnight. Crews rescued multiple people from an apartment fire on the city's north side. This happened in West Rogers Park, right near the intersection of Western Avenue and Touhy. 2 people were taken into the hospital, both of them in critical condition. And crews on scene say they weren't just fighting the fire this morning, they were fighting the cold.
The challenge is the temperature right off the bat. And obviously, if you look at the building access, you got a couple little corridors down each side of the building, the front and back. It's not like you got a driveway that you can walk up or anything, or a parking lot.
Firefighters say that the fire is out and they are now looking to figure out exactly what sparked it.
Developing this morning, growing calls for an investigation into another deadly shooting involving a Border Patrol agent in Minneapolis.
This shooting killed 37-year-old nurse Alex Preddy. Gabriella Primus joins us with what the president is now saying. Gabby.
Natalie, Anthony, President Donald Trump has not said whether the agent who shot Preddy did the right thing, but is saying his administration is reviewing everything that happened. The Department of Homeland Security says the agent was defending himself against Preddy, who they say approached with a gun and attacked. Video from a witness appears to show Preddy recording agents when he gets shoved. Agents seem to pin Preddy on the ground, and one of those agents walks away with the gun. Then an agent is seen drawing his own gun while another hit Preddy. That's when the gunfire begins.
Let's think of what those agents were doing on that scene, making a split-second decision. You've had 24 hours to try and armchair quarterback things. That agent had a split second to make a decision.
Minnesota authorities say they obtained a search warrant but were blocked from the shooting scene. Governor Tim Walz now says the state will conduct its own investigation.
So my question is, what's the plan, Donald Trump? What is the plan? What do we need to do to get these federal agents out of our state?
The plan, according to the president, is to leave. He tells the Wall Street Journal it will happen at some point, but didn't offer a specific time frame. Amid this, people hit the streets of Chicago to protest in solidarity with those in Minneapolis. They gathered at Ida B. Wells and Michigan Avenue downtown Sunday. Mayor Brandon Johnson was there. He was calling for defunding and abolishing ICE.
Chicago is not just the greatest city in the world, but we are the toughest city in the world, and a little bit of snow and cold will not stop us. Not only should we defund ICE, but it is time to abolish ICE and send Greg Bovino out. Are you with us, Chicago?
Today, a federal judge will take on a case focused on whether to halt the immigration crackdown in Minnesota. The state sued earlier this month, 5 days after Renee Good was shot by an ICE officer. Back to you.
Gabriella, the man acquitted in the murder-for-hire plot against Border Chief Gregory Bovino is now facing deportation. The Sun-Times says Juan Espinoza Martinez was taken into ICE custody last Friday. This was just a day after his victory in court. Homeland Security had previously accused Espinoza Martinez of being in the country illegally.
Joliet police have arrested a man accused of shooting a woman and her 4-year-old child to death. Police were called to Garnsey Avenue around 7 yesterday morning. Officers found the woman and boy's bodies in their backyard. The woman's 8-year-old son was in one of the bedrooms. He was found alive, and police located the 29-year-old suspect with a gunshot wound to his ankle, likely self-inflicted. Authorities believe this was a domestic incident. A woman is now charged in connection with a shooting in Oak Park that happened last year. Officers arrested 23-year-old Lisette Chavez over the weekend. Police say Chavez shot and seriously hurt a 25-year-old woman right near the intersection of Glen Lake and North Karloff Avenue back on March 15th. She is now charged with attempted murder and aggravated battery.
Winter storm Fern has turned deadly. Heavy snow, dangerous ice, and frigid temperatures across much of the U.S. has left at least 2 people dead and 1 million more at risk. Fox's Kathleen Maloney has the latest.
A massive winter storm is keeping parts of the U.S. at a standstill. Nearly 200 million people are under weather warnings from the southwest to the northeast as freezing temperatures, snow, and ice disrupt daily life.
All the governors I've talked to multiple times, and we've been working with them and their emergency management directors to make sure they have the equipment that they need.
The governor of Massachusetts says she expects 3,000 pieces of equipment to be on the roads in her state, clearing snow and de-icing. She's asking the public to stay home and be patient.
It's going to take a while for cleanup, probably up to 4 hours to really clean everything. So I ask that the public be patient. You're going to have people, guys, who've been working 24 hours, okay? Everybody's doing the best they can, as quickly as they can.
More than 1 million customers are without power, and tens of thousands of flights have been disrupted.
I think the entire neighborhood's out. I don't really have a backup plan. No power. I have a couple gas fireplaces, so may rely on those after a while.
And so far, 5 states are reporting more than a foot of snow. That number is expected to increase as the storm rolls into Monday. All week, residents stocked up on essentials.
Certainly food, because the big concern was power outages. So definitely food, snacks, thinking about what can you eat if the power goes out, just kind of preparing that way.
Over the next few days, Winter Storm Fern is expected to impact schools, travel, businesses, and sporting events. Kathleen Maloney, Fox News.
All right, temperatures here in the single digits this morning after some serious snowfall over the weekend. Illinois State Police say they were called to more than 300 accidents between Saturday and Sunday. So we take a look at some video taken from the Dan Ryan where a tractor trailer jackknifed. That was right near 31st Street. And then on I-80 in Hammond, a car ran straight into a wall. We also know that a Porter County, Indiana deputy was hurt in a crash as well. We are working this morning to figure out what led to that and the condition of that officer.
And they are heroes out there, those police officers, because that is what you want, is flashing lights behind you. You know, when there is an incident like that, you need assistance, and you don't want somebody to rear end you, Mike.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, we talked about how this is going to be a tough storm to fight because of how cold it was. Salt, very, very ineffective at these temperatures. So even though the plows are out there doing their thing, that snow can still create an icy coating. So watch out for that even now, even as skies are clearing. You do have a little bit of residual lake effect snow hitting parts of Berrien County. That's shifting off to the east, though. And all of us are going to see some sunshine today. Hooray for that. But it's going to do very little to help with temperatures. We'll be lucky to get to 10 today. What the sun can do is help a little bit in heating up the pavement, and that may be helpful in getting some of that ice to break free from the pavement. Maybe a flake or two wee hours in the morning, especially north of the city, and then some lake effect tomorrow. We'll have a mixture of clouds and sun here tomorrow. Another cold day with temperatures only in the teens. We're going to keep that trend going Wednesday and Thursday. And then my forecast focus is on the possibility of lake effect snow again here on Friday and Saturday. More on that in a little bit. Anthony?
No, we don't want any more lake effect snow. Okay, Mike, thank you, sir. 6:40, we got plenty more to get to here on Good Day Chicago. Super Bowl 60 is set. We will break down the big matchup between the Seahawks and the Patriots. Also, the halftime show will preview that. Also, the American Academy of Pediatrics just put out its new vaccine schedule, and there are some notable differences. Also, here's a question. Could Chicago host another Democratic National Convention? We're going to talk about a new push to do that, be the host city, right after the break.
Fox 32.
Chicago once again throwing its hat in the ring to host an upcoming Democratic National Convention. The DNC is meeting with interested cities in the next several weeks. According to the Sun-Times, the Chicago 2024 host committee has expressed interest in hosting the 2028 or 2032 convention. Boston, Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Denver also interested. According to a study by Choose Chicago, the 2024 DNC generated $371 million for the city.
The American Academy of Pediatrics has updated vaccine recommendations. They are out this morning, and they largely ignore the new federal guidance. The agency continues to recommend routine shots against both hepatitis A and B, flu, and meningitis, all of which the CDC has narrowed its guidance for. The IRS is opening up tax filing today. It's that time of year, everybody. If you've got your W-2, you can now calculate what you'll owe or what you'll get, hopefully, as a refund. File your taxes with the federal government. New provisions in last summer's big, beautiful bill may benefit some folks. Some of the provisions that might benefit you include no tax on tips, no tax on overtime pay, no tax on car loan interest, and enhanced deductions for seniors.
Chicago food banks and pantries are bracing for SNAP cuts. Starting February 1st, this upcoming Sunday, anyone between the ages of 18 and 64 without dependents will need to work or volunteer for at least 80 hours a month to keep their benefits. Anyone else will get only 3 months of benefits within a 3-year period. The National Transportation Safety Board investigating self-driving Waymo taxis. This follows dozens of recorded incidents of the taxis illegally passing stopped school buses. The company says it is continually improving its Waymo driver system, and to their knowledge, there have been no crashes involved.
A private jet carrying 8 people crashed during takeoff in Bangor, Maine. No word yet on the conditions of those on board. Bangor International Airport says emergency crews were on scene last night. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are now investigating. The crash comes as the Northeast was hit with a massive winter storm. Tomorrow, investigators are expected to try to lay out what went wrong when a passenger plane and Black Hawk helicopter collided right near Reagan International Airport in Washington, D.C. 67 people were killed in the crash last January. The NTSB has already highlighted some of the contributing factors, including a poorly designed helicopter route and the fact that the Black Hawk was flying higher than it should have been. Once the findings are revealed, the agency will recommend changes to help prevent similar tragedies from happening in the future.
President Trump threatening a 100% tariff on goods imported from Canada if they continue trade talks with China. In a post to social media, the president said if Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, wants to make Canada a drop-off port for China, he is sorely mistaken. Carney says, though, Canada is not pursuing a free trade deal with China. And talks to end the war between Ukraine and Russia are expected to continue later this week after weekend talks wrapped up without a deal. They involve Ukraine's top negotiators, Russian military intelligence members, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The conversations were constructive, but that didn't stop Russia from launching airstrikes in several areas in Ukraine.
All right, we all have our preferences. Now a new list is officially ranking the best and worst airlines. Find out if your favorite comes out on top of this list when we come back.
Fox Local, your smart
10 minutes till 7 a.m. on your Monday morning. Good morning, everybody. As we take a look over a very, very cold Grant Park this morning. It is cold outside once again, and it doesn't look like these frigid temperatures are going anywhere anytime soon.
In the news now, some lawmakers refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security and ICE after a second shooting involving federal authorities in Minneapolis.
Gabriella Preem is joining us now with that and some of the other headlines we are following this morning.
Well,
Gabby?
Natalie, Anthony, the threat to strip money from those agencies could raise the risk of another government shutdown at the end of the week. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer posted on social media that Democrats will not provide the votes to proceed with the bill if funding for DHS is included. Several Republicans are joining Democrats in calling for an investigation into the Minnesota shooting, including Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy and North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis. Senators need to pass a spending package by Friday to avoid a shutdown. And here in Chicago, crews rescued multiple people from an apartment fire on the city's north side overnight. It happened in Rogers Park near the intersection of Northwestern and West Touhy Avenues. 2 people were taken to the hospital, both in critical condition. Firefighters say the fire is out. No word yet on what sparked it. Thousands of people are without power after a massive winter storm makes its way from the south to the northeast. The outages are mostly concentrated in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. The concern about energy will grow as temperatures continue to settle in this week and threaten the electricity grid. Back to you.
And it is official, Super Bowl 60 is set. The Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots will face off at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California on February 8th.
And this is a rematch from 11 years ago and will be the Patriots' 12th Super Bowl. Seems like they're there every other year. They do have 6 wins under their belt. They're looking for their 7th, and if that happens, the team would set a new record. This will be the Seahawks' 4th time on the biggest stage in football. They are seeking their 2nd Lombardi trophy. These teams faced one another at Super Bowl 49. That was back in 2015. Pats came out on top on that one of those Tom Brady teams. This time, the Seahawks are the favorites to win. And the world-famous punk band Green Day will kick off the game with an opening ceremony performance. And then global superstar Bad Bunny is set to headline the halftime show. He has won 3 Grammys along with 12 Latin Grammys and is up for 12 more Latin Grammys this year. All right, a new airline has just been crowned #1 in an annual ranking. The Wall Street Journal has ranked Southwest as the industry's best performer of 2025. Southwest dethroning Delta from the top spot that Delta has actually held on to this thing for the previous 4 years. Coming in at #2 for 2025, another low-cost carrier, I should say, Allegiant Air. So Delta fell down, you can see there, to #3 after it saw an increase in delays, cancellations, and complaints.
An incredible feat over the weekend. Did you catch this on Netflix? American rock climber Alex Honnold. Am I saying that right, Anthony?
Yeah.
I know you've interviewed him. Okay.
Yeah.
He climbed to the top of the Taipei 101 skyscraper without any ropes or protective equipment. This is 1,667 feet. Whole thing broadcast live on Netflix. You can watch it on demand, though. We did yesterday. You may know Honnold for his ropeless climb up El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. That feat was captured in the documentary Free Solo.
All right. Speaking of amazing accomplishments, get this. A Chicago area athlete, a sophomore at Oswego High School. His name is Ethan Val. He scored his 1,000th point in basketball over the weekend. And to put that in context, most high school players spend 4 years trying to get to that 4-digit number. But Ethan Val did it midway through his sophomore season. He's a scoring machine, this guy. Val is ranked as one of the top 25 guards in the nation by ESPN. Right now, he's the #3 overall player in Illinois for the class of 2028.
Love to see that.
Yes. Yes, we'll follow his story.
Yes, we will.
Ethan Val, remember that name?
Remember that name?
Yeah.
Yes. I wonder if any, college scouts are looking, maybe some pro scouts are already looking there in Oswego for this young man. All right, we have cloud cover. It's breaking up. That's good news. We're going to get some sunshine out there, and the sun will help, even though it's going to be really cold. Getting that sunlight hitting the pavement, that should help at least alleviate some of the residual ice that's on the roadways. But boy, it's cold. 0 at O'Hare. The wind chill 18 below 0. We do have that cold weather advisory in effect until noon. Temperatures now include 1 below at Joliet, 4 below 0 at Woodstock, 2 below at Waukegan. You got 12 above at Michigan City, but only 1 degree above in Merrillville and also Chicago Heights. Here are the wind chills pretty much everywhere, 15 below 0 or worse. In a few spots are 20 below 0, and that's kind of the threshold for this cold weather advisory, which will be in effect until noon. Then the rest of the week, every single day colder than normal, not a single day at or near freezing. Very cold the next few days, maybe a snow shower tomorrow morning, wee hours of the morning, not a big deal. But there could be some lake effect snow in the area. Too early to tell where or how much. Friday and Saturday would be the time frame for that. All right, let's get that traffic update, Natalie.
All right, we start with the Metro because delays still plaguing 2 lines, BNSF and Southwest Service, because of a minor Amtrak derailment. So if you take those lines, make sure you check your Ventra app to see that they will be on time. No issues on any of your major freeways or on your L trains or city buses this morning. Let's go through those travel times. On the Kennedy, coming in from the big airport, 41 minutes. On the Eisenhower, 390 to downtown, 37. On the Stevenson, coming in from I-355 to the Drive, 35 minutes. And on the Dan Ryan, 95th to downtown, 27 minutes. Time now is 6:56. Hopefully your Monday's off to a fabulous start. Plenty more Good Days Chicago ahead.
Everything you need.
Welcome back. The Trump administration says it will reveal more about the Trump Accounts Savings Program this week. The president expected to speak at a Treasury Department event where he is expected to explain how the government-funded investment program would work. The program is expected to become available this year, with the Treasury Department depositing a one-time $1,000 check into every eligible child's account.
Chris Pratt's sci-fi thriller Mercy rakes in more than $11 million in its North American debut. That was enough to drive Avatar: Fire and Ash to second place. After it held the top spot for several weeks, Mercy takes place in the near future as a detective stands trial in an AI court accused of murdering his wife.
Oh, yikes. That's kind of a scary premise in general, right? All right, the trend called co-buying is becoming a popular option due to high home ownership costs. The National Association of Realtors 2025 profile states that between July of 2024 and June of last year, 25% of first-time home buyers were single women, 10% single men, and the percentage for married couples stayed flat at 50%. NerdWallet says co-buying is also pushing home ownership into being more about community living.